Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. I know it's been many months since I have done a video, and it is with a saddened heart that I am making this video, but by the end, it's going to be a happy heart. So most of you already know Stampin' Up! Is retiring their Stamparatus platform. I'm both sad and overjoyed at the same time. I am sad because for the life of me, and this is user error and not anything to do with the platform, whenever I did multiple stamping of, say, a sentiment image that I wanted to get a little darker, I would always have shadow, and I never got it to work right. That is on me, my technique, and not the platform itself. So I have two of these. I've had several people, because I have a Stamparatus positioning tool that I designed a year and a half ago that I sell on Etsy, and I'll have a link below and I'll show you that in a moment. I've had several people approach me and ask if I have any of these for sale. As of right now, as a current Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I am not able to list this on my Etsy store for sale. I have two of them because it is, even though you can't order it from Stampin' Up!, they are completely out of stock. It is still a current item. So I can't list that until the new catalog goes live, which is, I believe, May 4th. Hang on one second, and I can tell you, I believe May 4th. This is the new Stampin' Up! Catalog. I can't show you anything more than this at the moment. When it goes live, then I can show you the inside. But sometime in May, I will put these up for sale on my Etsy store. So I'll have the link below in the video description for the link to my Etsy store. Go over, favorite my shop, and you'll be notified when I do place them out for sale. So what are we to do? How do you do this multi-stamping that the Stamparatus platform performed? Well, I know many people who say they would never buy one of these, but I bought these long before I knew that Stampin' Up! Was, or bought this platform, before Stampin' Up! Was discontinuing the Stamparatus, and I have to say, I can now do multiple stamping without shadow. And unlike the Stamparatus, this has only one plate, but they are fixed by these hinges. So when the plastic plate comes down, it is perfectly aligned. And I am going to demonstrate today by showing you these beautiful blue roses. Now these roses are, yes, and I have inky fingers because I've been playing all morning. These roses, this is an Altenew product, and I don't believe you can get it. It's still listed on their website as available. It is the Golden Dyes layering stamp, and I'm using this today because it has 4 different stamps to get this coloration. And then I've already done the leaves. These leaves. Let me get a couple of the leaves out. And there's one of them. And then here's another. And I am doing mass production of these. And I'm saying a lot. I haven't done this in a while. So for the leaves, one of the leaves has a 3 stamp process and the other has a 4 stamp. So the leaves I already did with Memento Black for the outline portion. And then I'm using Stampin' Up! Old Olive and Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz is retiring, but Old Olive is carrying over with the color refresh that's happening with the new annual catalog. And I used this little template, and I'm going to demonstrate this with the rose, but I did 30 of this leaf, and 15 or 16 of this one, utilizing this Misty platform. So that I was doing this so that, number one, I get a bunch of these pieces and parts because I'm making a bunch of beautiful Mother's Day cards. And I wanted to do a production. So this is my handy dandy little template. I will show you how to do this with the rose. So let me set this aside. Oh, with the Altenew stamps, they have these wonderful instructions, and they've got, you can utilize, if you want to cut this up, you can use this on a card front, or you can use this as a template for yourself. And it shows all of the Altenew colors that they used to get all of these. And then over on this panel, I think you can see it gives you a step-by-step where to align each of the different stamps. And each of the roses, it's 4 of the floral, the petals, and then the stamen on the inside, they've got 3. I'm only using 2 of the stamens on the inside. This leaf here, it was 4, but I didn't do this last one. I liked just those 3. And on the final one, this other one, I didn't do this particular stamping because I liked how it looked with just that. So, oops, get that back together. Get that moved aside. And along with this, I have the dies for this set. So you can cut out the rose in each of the leaf patterns. And what I did is, I was busy. I cut out a bunch of the roses. And, oh, one last thing. You can get, with some of the Altenew, they have a mask. So if you're putting this on a card base or a card panel and you want to overlap, you can use this to go over your rose. So that you can layer. Actually, these pieces are what you would put over. Oh, and I've lost one. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's, oh, no, I did. I lost one. It's a little plastic piece. Well, these are what you would lay over for masking. And this would be if you were doing blending brushes to color these in. So let me put that aside. Sorry about that. And the Altenew, they've got, if you do any hot plate foiling, they've got all kinds of stuff, the embossing folders, but I digress. So what I did is I took, and this is a 6.5 panel by 4 inches, and I took the die, the floral die, and went ahead and cut one section out. And I'm using the minty tape, which is a very low tack. You could use washi tape and put it on the back. And I'm going to demonstrate how we're going to do this. So I have previously aligned all of the 4 colored, the background, the outline, and the 3 colors for each of the roses. And all I'm doing is, got that paper, I butt up against the bottom and the side, and I've got, this comes with the Misty, and then I have got this magnet myself, but I just take one of my blanks and slide it right in. Well, it's supposed to slide right in. Of course, when you're on camera and doing this, it doesn't cooperate. And then just to make sure that it fits snugly in there. So I'm going to move these out of the way so you can see the whole platform. I'm not going to zoom you in because I want you to see the whole effect. Okay, so Memento Tuxedo Black. And you want to pay attention to where the stamp is that you're going to use for this in the ink. So I'm just carefully inking up. I'm trying not to get that particular stamp. Press that down, pull it up. Let's see if I got a good impression. Nope. Tap, 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 tap. Let's do it again. And I'm going to get my little tool that I found on Amazon. See if I can get a better impression. I can't get an impression right there in the center on the stamen. So let's see if I can get that. There we are. Perfect. And then all you do is flip this around. Watch your magnets. And I did see that I got some black there, so I'm going to use my simple chamois from Stampin' Up. Get that off of there. I am using Altenew inks color family. I don't remember the name of the color family, but it's Sea Glass, Ocean Waves, Dusk, excuse me. And this is Desert Night. So we're going to use the 3 starting at the lightest, and then to get the all over blue, I'm going to use a blending brush at the end. So I flip this around just like this. Get that down, good coverage, and voila. And again, we're flipping. Move to the next color and cover my black. And we're going to use, this is the next layering stamp. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And then the final layering stamp for the petals. And then I'm just going to slide this out of the way, grab my Desert Night, and my blending brush. Get this all inked up. Light pressure. Sorry for the camera shaking. It's attached to my table. And that just kind of gives a nice overall blend to all of your blues. And last but not least, I'm going to use the Honey Drizzle from Altenew and the Crumb Cake from Stampin' Up. Going to get the Crumb Cake. Sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm trying to line this up. And there you go. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. And depending on how heavy-handed you get, that's what you come up with. Isn't that beautiful? Now, one thing that I suggest you do when you're using the platform, you can do this multiple ways. Let me cover these up and get this back out. So, I recommend, because it happened to me, if you're going to do multiple impressions and coloring, don't move anything. Get these all done, and then you can clean it up and remove your stamps. I had done a couple of the outlines last night, moved all the stamps because I was doing another full large stamp for a background, and I'll show you that on another video because I want to get these done. Maybe I'll do it in a little bit. Maybe I'll pause you. But my recommendation is do all your stamping with how these are all positioned. Sorry for the ring light reflection. And then move the stamps and go on to your next project. The other thing is, yes, you're going to get inky if you've got multiple layers that you're stamping and you don't clean them off in between. That's what I do. I clean it when I'm all done. What was the next thing I was going to mention? And I can't for the life of me remember off the top of my head. Like I said, it's been a couple months since I've done this. Speaking of that, the reason I've taken some time off is my mom's had some pretty serious health issues, and it took a couple months, but we finally got her stable. And at this point, you know, it's in God's hands. She's doing really well. She's not in hospice or anything like that, but she's got some major heart issues, and none of us have a crystal ball, so we just enjoy every day. So let me pause this video, and I'm going to go ahead and get all of these roses done, and I might do some in yellow. I'll show you those at the end, and then I'm going to show you one more technique. Okay, welcome back. I am done with all the roses I'm going to do. These were the 4 that I had done prior to jumping on this video. This is the one I did just a few seconds ago. And then I did these 5 off camera. This standard blue. Then these were the Altenew yellows. I used Honey Drizzle. Oops, actually it's Citrus Burst, Fresh Lemon, Maple Yellow, and then the darkest in that family is Honey Drizzle. And this, I tried to go ahead and use some Stampin' Up colors. The base color, 3 colors I used. Fresh Freesia, 4 colors. Memento is the outline. Memento Tuxedo Black. Cannot talk today. Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, and Gorgeous Grape. And the Gorgeous Grape, I should have done a stamp off. It was a little bit too dark. I think I'm in focus. And then I took a Gorgeous Grape and a blending brush and did the whole thing. But I think the Gorgeous Grape is just a little bit too dark for that. But I love how the yellows and the blues all turned out, and depending on how heavy-handed you were in tapping, you got different variations of color. This is also more wet. This dried overnight, so the inks are drying a little lighter. So let's get into one last little technique or tool, actually 2 tools. So in the Misty, where did I put, there it is, in my Misty, when I was positioning this and then all the different stamps, it took me a while to get that done, but I utilized my tool, positioning tool that I designed, and it is an acetate or laminated piece of acetate that I had printed the grid line on, and I like the grids just to give me a little more visual when I'm positioning a stamp. But this I designed for the Stamparatus. It fits perfectly on the Stamparatus, but then I realized when I was using the Misty and didn't have, oops, put one of these up there, sorry, didn't have a positioning tool like this, I grabbed mine and it overhangs a little, but it completely works inside of the Misty. So I will update the name on my Etsy listing for this tool, and I'll have a link down below if you're interested in this. I saved a ton of cardstock and time in having to go recut dies that I wasted. Stamp on this, take a wet wipe or the Stampin' Scrub chamois. It's not a scrubby, it's a chamois. And just wipe this clean and reposition your stamp. Stamp it again onto this, and voila, perfect placement every time. So, other thing that I like the Misty for, which you could use the Stamparatus for as well. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this paper. I was doing, and I'm going to use Stampin' Up's Crumb Cake. And don't need that. But Altenew has this really cool lattice work. What is this called? This is, doesn't have on here what it's called. It is not anywhere on there. It's, oh, diamond pattern play. Duh, can't read. And I'm going to go ahead and put my, this is a sticky mat. Ooh, let me pull you out just a little. I realized you're way in. There, how about that? So this is a stick and stamp mat by Brutus Monroe. And it fits perfectly inside of the Misty. And I'm going to go ahead and secure it down with the magnets. And peel that off. Sorry for the noise. This is a big, big stamp. Ta-da! I'm going to put my cardstock right there. Perfect. Creased that, but oh well. So I have, whoops, let me pick that up. Like I said, it's a sticky mat. I should have done that without the sticky mat down. So I have a bunch of cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I will cut it down later, but it literally doesn't move. Take your crumb cake, tap, tap, tap all the way around, and I'm going to use my tool here. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And I've done a bunch because I'm going to use this as my background for all of those roses. I can't show you the design because I have some mothers that I send to who are going to get this. But then this just, easiest way to do this is to bump it up against the side and then gently bend it, and this peels right off. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? You can do this with any large stamp. And then to clean this, Brutus Monroe Squeaky Clean Matte Cleaner. So, spray it on. I'm just going to use a little paper towel, and it takes that ink right off. It doesn't feel tacky, but take a lint-free cloth and just do a real quick swipe. Give it a couple seconds to dry, and it will start getting sticky again. Now you don't have to clean it every time you go to stamp a new piece of cardstock. Because I'm going to do a bunch of these, I'm just going to keep going. But let me put this aside and show you again what I worked on today. Thanks for joining me. It's been so long and I missed this, and I also didn't really do a lot of creating. My mom had a ton of doctor appointments and a ton of, that's just crooked. You're not crooked. The pad is crooked. But my mom had a ton of doctor appointments. She did some heart studies. Her mitral valve is failing, and we did some studies, or submitted her to some studies to see if they could find a replacement for it. And unfortunately, they did not. So we are just basically doing palliative care. She's got her whole team of doctors making sure that medications and lifestyle is how we manage this. So finally get to be able to create again, and I'm super excited. So thank you again for joining me. I do appreciate your time, and you have a wonderful rest of your day.